Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster today, fellow Toastmasters, and our esteemed guests that we have. A few days ago, I did not know I was going to speak, but I started thinking about what topic would be good. So I looked at the calendar, and quite often, if you looked at your calendar that all of you have, it has special days down. And it said something like Sunday is Parents' Day. And I said to myself, that is a good topic. Because today, Parents' Day, and things associated with parents, very controversial. And what I wanted to do this evening is to talk about some of the statistics associated with parents, some of the issues, and what we can do to help our parents celebrate their days. The first thing that comes into my mind are the children on the street and the trouble they get into. And you say, well, whose fault is it? And quite often we go back to the parents. It's the parents' fault. Why not put the parents in jail instead of the kids? Well, obviously, some of the parents cannot control the kids. And in fact, in some cases, the kids control the parents. Now, we might say, well, that's how it is in the urban areas. Well, in some urban areas, that is the case. But some of the urban area situations are really going into the suburbs. It's almost like drugs. Why are the kids on drugs? Why are the kids in gangs? Don't the parents have some feeling of interest in this? Well, evidently, all these things are moving to the suburbs. So the parents in the suburbs also have a responsibility of doing something. Statistically, in around 1970, heterosexual couples have about 70% of children. Just a few years ago, the rate has moved from 70% to 43% of heterosexual couples with children. In other words, there's been a downgrade on families with children, heterosexual families. Things have changed so fast in the last few years that one cannot say that heterosexual families have stable children, because there are all kinds of families now that come together without being a man and a woman. Now that is a big thing for a lot of people. In fact, for some religious people, really it's just turned the world almost upside down. Because now when it comes to adoption, you don't have to be a couple to adopt children. You don't have to be a woman to adopt children. You don't have to be a man to adopt children and call them your children. A man and a man can adopt children. A woman and a woman can adopt children. And they are not their children, but they are their family. And they call themselves parents. And quite frankly, sometimes it turns out good, and sometimes it turns out bad. And the divorce rate, as you probably know, among all kinds of groups, is just going up, 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 up. So there is a problem. And one might say it's a societal problem. Why aren't things better? Why aren't morals better? Because it does affect us all in whatever we do. And one says the The solution is the family values. And also the fact that the parents do not operate like they used to. Well, some families do operate like they used to. Some families and parents do go to the football games, to plays that their kids are involved in, but some do not. And as some sociologists say, it's a breakdown in society. And as I observe things, yeah, I look at it as a breakdown in society too. And it's something that we have to recognize and something that we have to build on. It is very interesting that if you are in a group of your colleagues that you like, everything will be fine. But when you look across the street, things are terrible. So we have a moral dilemma in the country that we have to work at. And actually, all of us have to take the responsibility. So that is the situation. Now, I would just like to leave you with a few comments about your parents, because it's hard to solve the problem of all the parents. How are you treating your parents? And let me just give an example of a situation which happens often these days. I have a sister-in-law who's about 58 years old, and her husband's 59. They have 3 children. The children now are 21, 22 years old. All 3 have good jobs. All 3 have left the family. And now my sister-in-law and her husband say, wow, we had a house of 4 rooms. And now all our children are gone. And we asked their children, hey, do you want to take some of the furniture with you? And the children said, no. We want to start our own family, start our own household, get our own furniture. Now, isn't that something? You would think that years ago that they would welcome the things that they had grown up with in their household. But no, they want to do things on their own now. This is like a new day. So now my sister-in-law, 59, her husband's 58. They say, now, what are we going to do? We cannot have control of our children because they're gone. They have their own ideas. They have their own work. So they have to think about themselves and how they can enjoy the next 10, 15, or 20 years. What I want to leave with you is that society has changed. But some parents are still parents. And parents have a desire, they love their children. Good children or bad children. And we hear about this all the day. The lady says, my child wouldn't do anything like that. Yeah, they got shot. But they're one of the best people all around the city. Yeah, maybe she thinks so, or he thinks so. We don't know what happens to the young man when they get in trouble. So the parents want the best for their kids. And now I'm saying to you, how many of you, let me ask this question, how many of you have parents? Okay, great. If they're alive, you still have the opportunity to make their lives better. I'm not saying how old they are. They might be in their 50s, in their 60s, in their 70s. But let me ask you, can you help make their lives better by helping them? You might still live with them, or you might not live with them. But they have spent their whole life with you since you're that tall, that tall, that tall, taking care of you, spending money on you, going to games with you, all those things that they have done for you. And it's time for you to give something back to them. So whatever the status is, and wherever they are, make the life of your parents better by assisting them in all kinds of ways. And this will make all families.